Hey, Tim Unkert here, and welcome to my channel. This is going to be a short video today. Got inspired by a little bit of issues I was having. So I want to talk a little bit about installing Emacs on a Chromebook and the issues that you might have with that. So if it's been in the last few days, this is Halloween 2021 that this is being filmed. You may have noticed that when you install Emacs, it's kind of goofy looking. And it's not working right. And I'll tell you how to get around that. So, anyways, so I thought I had a picture saved. I did not. But the GUI looks kind of weird and it doesn't quite work right. If that happens, check your settings. And you want to go down here to About Chrome OS. And you'll see you want to have official build, but if you have like the beta or the dev version, that's where I was running into the error. So I had to switch back to the beta version. Okay, so I'm in the beta version. I'll show you how to install it. I have a fresh install of Linux right here. To install Emacs, I'm just going to type sudo apt install Emacs, and it's going to go ahead and ask me if I want to take the extra space. And I'm going to show you in this video too, just it's a quick one, but how to set it up, on a separate machine, how to just do it quickly, how I would do it quickly to get my config set up on a specific machine. Okay. So it's going to go ahead and do that. I'll pause the video while it does that because it's a little bit boring just to watch it, download stuff. And I'll come back once it's finished. Okay. Okay, so now we've got Emacs installed, and boom, I can launch it, and it'll start up in just a moment, and we have a normal installation on a Chromebook of Emacs. So if you had tried to install this at this time on the dev or beta channels for your Chromebook, you would have noticed that there's some of the text was missing. It's kind of not so great looking, that kind of thing. Now, this is Emacs 26.1 that they give you on the stable channel. On the other one, it's trying to install 27.1. It doesn't work on there. I haven't tried yet installing like a previous version like 26 or 25. Maybe that would work. There's some errors you could work through, but I think the easiest option is switch to the stable channel. Now, if you do want to run 27.1, what we can do is we can close this out. I'm going to get rid of Emacs. I'm going to sudo apt, not install, purge Emacs here. Go ahead and I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to type sudo apt auto remove. Okay. And that's going to remove the extra stuff. Okay. And it's going to go ahead and do that. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up a file in my drive. These I have to install to get Emacs 27.2, which is the latest, I think, stable version. So I'm going to copy all this stuff and just hit Control-C and then type sudo apt install and then this stuff. And then, okay, and then I'm going to also copy this stuff and paste that in, and then also these libraries. I'll leave a description of these libraries that are the dependencies that you would have to install. Let me try that again. So let's do sudo apt. Oh, I typed install twice. Okay. So let's go back here. And go back to here. And okay, so now we're going to install this stuff. Go ahead. And it's going to go run through that. I'll pause it for right now, let it install those dependencies, and we'll come back. Okay, I'm back, and the dependencies have installed. Now I'm going to search for Emacs, and you'll see, did you mean VI? No, I meant Emacs. Okay, so I'm going to go to Emacs here and hit GNU Emacs. And I want to get 27.2 because I want to use my Doom themes. And, I don't think they work that well in 26.1. Anyways, let me close this out here. So we want to get a nearby GNU mirror. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to go scroll down to 27.2, the .tar.gz file. And I'm going to download that. And that'll download into my downloads folder on the Chromebook. Okay, and I'm going to click show in folder. And I'm going to copy that into here. Okay, and it's going to take, it might take a minute, but it's not going to take that long. Okay, it's done. And now I'm going to just type tar, a dash, zvxf, and then hit E, and I'll hit tab, and that'll expand out the file for me. And I'm going to now unzip the file. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through, and it's unzipping. It'll take a moment. Okay, we're done with that. We'll ls list storage. We see we have this new blue folder, Emacs 27.2. What I'm going to do now is change into that directory. Again, I just typed em and then a tab, and it expanded it out. Okay, so now what I want to do is a dot slash and then configure. Okay, and it's going to run through and configure it. Now, if once I'm done configuring, making, and then sudo make installing it, which is going to set it up. When I run Emacs, if I just ran Emacs, it would be like a typical install, like you saw with the previous one where I just did sudo apt install Emacs. It would be version 27.2 versus 26.1. But what I'm going to do before I'm going to do that is I'm going to clone something from my GitHub into there, and then from there we'll boot it up. And once I change what I cloned, the name of that, into .emacs.d, it'll boot up and it'll have my configuration on there. And at the end of this video, I'll share all the links to my configuration. I am going to add something. Maybe I'll add it in this video. So I've been at work. I've been using a XAMPP for my local WordPress development. And what we do is we actually go in, we code the back end, we do custom layouts and that kind of stuff. One of my colleagues, he's been using, okay, so now we're done configuring. Hold on one sec. We're done configuring. I'm going to type make and let that run. Now I'll start talking again. So we're doing the back end. We're doing custom coding of the WordPress developments, a lot of styling, some PHP, some JavaScript on the back end. His local development environment is, I want to say it's called Vagrant VirtualBox. It's not the same as XAMPP. So we're trying to get uniform, and we're trying to do it with Docker. Okay, and I've been experimenting with Docker in the last couple of days. I may do some some videos. I can't talk. Some videos on setting up a local WordPress development environment in Docker. And one of the cool things I found about Emacs is it has an extension or a package, what they call is a package. It's like a plugin called Docker-TRAMP. Okay, Docker-TRAMP. Okay, and that allows you, once you start the Docker container, what you can do is you can do Docker container and list your storage, and it'll list out the running Docker containers along with their IDs. And so you can find file in Emacs and enter in the ID. I'm saying IDE because Emacs is kind of an IDE. You can enter the ID of the container, and then you can go into the files very easily and start altering them with Emacs. And with Docker Container, you can also go into the container, and in the container, you can install Vim, Nano, Cocoon, whatever text editor you want within the container. But this way, I can use my outside Emacs configuration to edit whatever container I want in Docker, and it's pretty fast with the system I'm running. So it's been working pretty well. I may, who knows, may change in the future, but it may not. Okay, so the make process is actually the longest process of this, so it's going to take a few minutes. I'm going to just pause the video, and we'll come back once we're done with that. Okay, so now we're back, and I've run make. Now I'm going to run the command sudo make install. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And this is much shorter than the process for make. Okay, so we're going to run through that. Take a moment. See, it's doing its thing. Okay, and we're almost done. Almost done. Just around the corner. It's just around the corner. Okay. And then once we do that, I'll go to my GitHub and we'll get that set up. Okay. So now it's installed. If I do ls-a, I'll notice that, I'm in Emacs 27.2. I want to actually CD back to back one directory. Now, if I do ls-a, you'll see that I don't have, I do have an emacs.d config. So if I start up Emacs, well, I may have to do #-r. Okay, now if I start up Emacs, okay, it's going to start up. The installation is good. Looks fine, but it's the base Emacs. So what I'm going to do is rm-rf.emacs.d. That's going to remove that folder. I'm going to ls-a to show you that it's now removed. Okay, so now I'm going to go to GitHub. And I may need to enter some stuff, so I may pause the video for just a moment. Yeah. So I'm going to pause the video and then enter some stuff, and then I'll get into my GitHub. Okay, I'm in my GitHub now. One thing I should note is with that .emacs.d, because I installed it and started it up before, it creates that the first time you install it. The one thing to note, though, is if you don't boot it up, it's not going to be there. So if you're putting a custom config in using this method I'm going to show you, there's no need to start it up that first time because then you have to delete the folder anyways. It gives you an extra step. So I'm just going to type Emacs because I have a couple in here. So this is my latest one. Okay, I'm going to take the code and copy it. And then I'm just going to type git clone and then paste that GitHub address in. And it's going to clone my config. Now if I do ls, if I list out, I see that I have this Emacs 27.2, the Emacs 27.2.tar.gz. I can get rid of those. So let me just get rid of those for a moment. Okay. All right. I'm going to get /rid of those. Okay, now I'm going to list out my storage. I have my latest Emacs config. I'm going to rename that. Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to type mv for move, /, and then the name of the file, or the name of the folder. And I'm going to do a // and then a .emacs.d. Okay, so now if I do ls-a, I see I have the emacs.d, but that's actually what I cloned. That's my configuration. So now if I start Emacs, it's going to load up. It's going to take a moment, and you'll notice it looks a lot different. It loads up full screen. It's got the nice Doom theme. I can start typing. This is awesome. You see it's got autocomplete in there, so it's got my config. The one thing I'm going to add to the configuration, and and I'll leave my configuration is that docker-tramp. If you want to watch me do that, all I'm going to do is package list packages. So to get to the command down here, I just did the Alt button and X, Meta X. It's going to do that. And it's going to take a moment to list out the packages because it's going out and contacting Melpa, Melpa Stable, and Elpa. I'm going to do Alt X again and then package refresh. Oops, refresh. Okay, so it's contacting Elpa, Melpa. You can see that happening on the bottom of the screen. Package refresh done, and I'm going to do package install, and I'm going to type docker-tramp, and now we have docker-tramp installed. I may need to do something in the configuration file, but you can look that up online if you want to set your configuration file. But it's pretty easy now. I could do Control-X, Control-F, do a slash, type docker, colon, and then whatever the ID is, it's usually a number, something like that, and then another colon and a slash. If I hit enter, that's going to go into the base files. Now, I could also do, like if I set my volume for Docker, if you know what I'm talking about, and I'll have more videos about this, something like www/var/html, then it's going to go right to where my WordPress install is. I'm going to be able to start editing the files and working on the next project that I'm doing locally on Docker. All right, there'll probably be some Docker videos coming up. I'm still fostering a puppy, so I haven't had time to make a ton of videos, but I'm going to try and start to pick it up again and cover some cool stuff with WordPress, Docker, some other stuff, just regular coding stuff, maybe updating my personal site with which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, go through that, and some more Python videos with worksheets. So that's coming. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this channel, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps the channel grow. You can also follow me on GitHub. I'll leave my GitHub below, and I'll leave a link to this Emacs config in the description below. And also, what you can do is you can check out some of my stuff on TeacherPay Teachers if you want to support the channel in that way. If you watch this video, though, it's support enough. I thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next one, and thank you, and have a good day.